Hello everyone! The Burning Legion has invaded Azeroth once again, and warriors are able to pick up 3 different artifacts to empower them in this war. For the protection warrior, it's a mighty shield called the Scale of the Earth Warder. Long ago, a great king called Magnar Icebreaker, he wielded weapons crafted from a scale of the mightiest dragon in the land. He should be here with us in the Halls of Valor, but he is not. Yet his son did make it to the halls, and he's been turned into a mighty Valashar.
Go now! Haruthnir waits at the Sky Launch to aid you!
Despite Helya locking away Odin and his troops, his son is still able to leave the Halls of Valor and join us as we venture forth into his father's tomb.
Let us cross blades sometime. Our journey will be a quick one. A single leap from Skyhold will take us to Azeroth. Follow me.
As we make our way into the tomb, battle with a fiendish imp and the restless undead, let's talk about the history of these artifacts and how Vrykul obtained the scale of none other than Deathwing and turned it into a weapon. When Odin created his Halls of Valor, countless Vrykuls sought to prove themselves worthy of joining the ranks of the mighty Valashar. Perhaps none went to such lengths as the one who would become king, Magnar Icebreaker. His victories in battle were beyond measure, and the strength of his deeds inspired others to seek their own heroic legacy. Many of his greatest deeds were accomplished with 2 legendary artifacts, the Scale of the Earth Warder and the Scale Shards. Obtaining them nearly cost Magnar his life, but their power carried him to heights even he never imagined were within reach. Magnar's comrades gave him the name Icebreaker after his successful campaign in Northrend. While hunting nests of Nerubians, Magnar discovered a way to surprise the enemy. Cracks in glacier walls they could be turned into tunnels, allowing him to dig deep into enemy strongholds and assault them from within. As he traveled across Azeroth, Magnar saw many powerful creatures, but none enraptured him so much as Neltharion, the dragon aspect of Earth. Vrykul and dragons, they rarely had reasons to interact, but over the years Magnar never failed to watch in awe when Neltharion flew overhead. With Neltharion's lair close to the Vrykul home of Stormheim, Magnar began to ponder what might be waiting inside. What marvels would the Earth Warders then hold? What power could the Vrykul obtain? His curiosity would become an obsession. Magnar Icebreaker convinced the raiding party of Vrykul warriors to accompany him into Neltharion's lair. They waited until they saw the dragon aspect leave his mountain, and then they carefully crept inside. They hoped that they would find treasures or artifacts, but what they found instead was a host of enemies. Though Neltharion was gone, many of his dragonkin still remained. A colossal fight broke out in the smaller side caverns beneath High Mountain, pitting the Vrykul invaders against impossible odds. Magnar led his party in a frantic run for an exit, but before they could escape, Neltharion returned to his lair. The dragon aspect, enraged at the trespassers, unleashed a single lethal breath of fire. There was nowhere to hide and nowhere to run. In desperation, Magnar grabbed a piece of debris from the ground, and this was one of Neltharion's cast of skills. It saved Magnar's life, since the blast of flame parted around the black scale, but the sheer force carried Magnar out of the lair, sending him tumbling down the slopes of High Mountain. Magnar was badly wounded, but he did survive his encounter. Now, a black dragon's wrath was not easily shrugged away. It took years for Magnar to recover from his injuries, and he spent his time examining the scale that he had taken from Neltharion's lair. He was in awe of its resiliency. It had saved him from a fiery death without being so much as scratched or singed. Magnar wanted the scale to be forged into a lasting armament, but none of the Vrykul blacksmiths knew how to sculpt something so unusual. As Magnar recuperated, he began to study the art of blacksmithing. If nobody else knew how to unlock the skill's potential, then he would learn to do it himself. Few understood Magnar's motivations. Most Vrykul sought a place in the Halls of Valor through glory on the battlefield, not by working a blacksmith's forge. In time, Magnar would become known as a respectable smith in his own right. The edges of his blades were often sharper and more precise than those of his peers. They needed to be. Magnar knew that he would only have one opportunity to craft Neltharion's scale into a worthy shield. When the time came, Magnar retreated to his forge and he began to work. Days later, he emerged again. In his grasp were 2 armaments unlike any the Vrykul had ever seen. One was a shield of unimaginable endurance. The other was a sword, polished to a fine edge. It was the last time that Magnar created a weapon. He would never need another. Now Magnar, he was already a respected warrior. With his new sword and shield in his hands, he became a legend. Tempered by a disastrous venture into High Mountain, he approached his campaigns with thoughtfulness and discipline, and against his newly forged power, the enemies of the Vrykul stood little chance. Other Vrykul flocked to his side with each victory, believing that Magnar's astonishing feats would usher them all into the Halls of Valor as Valashar, as immortal champions. Before long, Magnar was leading a sizable portion of the Vrykul people. Only a few years after forging his armaments, he was now known as King Magnar Icebreaker. King Magnar Icebreaker eventually returned his sights to the region where he had made his name, the region of Northrend. Remnants of the insectoid Nerubian armies, they were once again emerging from their caves, seeking to seize Ulduar and the titan machinery within. Against Magnar, they did not get far. The king led his people against the Nerubians, pushing them back to the entrance of Azul Nerub itself. So thorough was the Nerubians' defeat that they ceased all aggression for millennia. No Vrykul doubted that Magnar would ascend to the halls of valor upon his death, and even though Helja had sealed away Keeper Odin and the Valajar, she wondered if Magnar's spirit would be strong enough to make the journey anyway. King Magnar Icebreaker, he had his sights focused firmly on the city of Stormheim, now occupied by highborn elves. The Vrykul believed that their path to a glorious afterlife with Odin and the halls of valor, that it would be cleared if they once again held their ancestral home. Helja and her followers knew this ambition would provide their best opportunity to bring down Magnar, and with luck, his soul would be dragged to Helheim instead of going to the halls of valor. The Vrykul launched a massive attack on Stormheim, surprising the highborn with their ferocity. For weeks, the two sides skirmished. Magnar led the charge. The scale of the Earth Warder protected him from the elves' arcane magic, and the Vrykul's assault scored immediate victories, building enough momentum to push the highborn out of the city entirely. The elves' last chance to reclaim the city happened at Nightborn Pass. The highborn rallied their forces for a final counterattack, clashing with the Vrykul in a brutal confined brawl. In the end, it was the Vrykul that stood victorious. The highborn, they were forced to flee for their lives, and they never made a claim upon Stormheim again. But it was then, at the moment of Magnar's biggest triumph, that betrayal fell upon him. Mere moments after the Vrykul secured the victory over the highborn, the servants of Helja struck. Traitors arose within the Vrykul ranks to slaughter Magnar's closest confidants and his son. Amid the chaos, more of Helja's followers, the Helajar, they arrived to make sure that Magnar was killed. Now, after seeing his son butchered like that, Magnar was consumed with rage. He became a whirlwind of death, killing every enemy within reach. Countless Kavaldir and traitorous Vrykul had fallen to his blade before, finally, they brought him down. His people were able to rally and prevent the Helajar from claiming Stormheim, but they were too late to save their king. In death, Magnar's spirit still lingered. His rage stopped him from making a journey to the Halls of Valor, but it also kept his soul from Helja's grasp. For thousands upon thousands of years, he burned with righteous fury, hovering between the lifelong past and the afterlife he deserved. This is the reason why his spirit still lingers in the tomb and has not made the journey to the Halls of Valor or even to Helheim, but we're here now to make things right. After defeating the guardians of the tomb that refused to listen to the sun, we open up the door to confront the spirit of his father.
Curse Helja! Curse her cowardly followers! I'll not rest until she is dead! Here we are. Magnar's chamber. Champion, we must save him. I will find the words to spur him on to the Halls of Valor, but he may resist the truth and turn his guards against me. Say the word, and we shall begin. Father, it's me, your son. Odin sent me here to... You are not my son. He is in the Halls of Valor, called by Odin before his time. Begone from here, trespassers! It is me! I fell before you in the Battle of the Pass! We were betrayed! My son died before my very eyes! I failed to protect him! You will not! I fell in battle! We all fell! None survived the onslaught! Not even you! Lies! Can you not see my faithful soldiers? You died in glorious battle! The Halls of Valor await! Come with me, father! Enough of this! Gods, punish these outsiders for their insolence!
Magnar refuses to listen, does not see his son for what he truly is, so it's time to smack some sense into him.
Who are you, demon? Why do you torment me so? I am the son of Magnar the Great, champion of the Valajar! Father, look at me! I am Hruthnir! I am your son! Liar! You will die for saying his name! I shall send you to Helheim myself! I have fallen, Hruthnir. You are a Valajar? I am, as you will be. Come, Let us go to the halls of valor. This mortal warrior will find the revenge you crave. I see now. My weapons are yours, warrior. May they bring you glory as you strike down Helia's minions. His weapons are yours now, champion. There is nothing left for us here. Let us feast in the halls of valor together.
We have done a great deed here today. Father and son are reunited, Odin has obtained a mighty warrior, and we have gained a powerful weapon. The Scale of the Earth Order will be our shield, a portion of the Black Dragon aspect's power before the old god's corruption overcame him. With the sword Scale Shard in their other hands, Protection Warriors will wield these mighty artifacts through their adventures on the Broken Isles and the war against the Legion. And that is where the story of this artifact ends for now. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time guys, see ya!